Well, thank you all for coming. Now is a really exciting time, both for gamers and for game developers. Right now, we are 10 years into the mobile gaming revolution. This is a revolution that's brought more than 3.5 billion new computing device owners into the market, in the form of smartphones and tablets, and billions of new gamers. So it's one of the greatest events in the history of the game industry. But it's had this side effect that's been very noticeable for the past decade, and that's that the game industry has been split really into two halves. Right? On one side, there are the high-end PC and console gamers and game developers, and this is Epic's heritage, from Unreal Tournament and Gears of War, high-end games for core gamers. On the other hand, there have been casual mobile games, starting with amazing games like Angry Birds and evolving long from that. But the result is that the game industry has been split. And there's also been a growing degree of dysfunction in mobile gaming, which is that there are literally over 100,000 games shipping every year on these mobile devices, all competing for the same top 10 charts on the App Store. That makes it really hard for developers. A lot have been forced to resort to ad-driven games and sketchy monetization models. But we see this new trend now that's upending the game industry. We think it's going to be a great thing for everybody, and that is that mobile gaming is now shifting from casual gaming as a focus to serious games for gamers. It's inherently a flight to quality. And this began in Korea. Last year we told you about Lineage 2 Revolution. Now this is an open-world MMO with over 100 players on screen, powered by Unreal Engine 4, that runs on iOS and Android, and brings a truly console-quality game experience to owners of all of these mobile devices. And that's just the start, but now it's coming here. Rocket League, a hit PC and console game, is now coming to Switch. Ark Survival Evolved, an amazing open-world dinosaur survival game. Huge environments and beautiful graphics. It's coming to iOS and Android, and you'll hear more about that later in this presentation. PUBG has come to mobile. It's a completely faithful version of the hit PC and console game, now on iOS and Android from Bluehole and PUBG Corp. And Epic has brought Fortnite to iOS now, and it's coming soon to Android. And the really neat thing about Fortnite is it's the full game. It's the entire Fortnite experience in Fortnite Battle Royale that's fully interoperable between iOS, PlayStation, Xbox, PC, and Mac. So gone are the day of ports that eventually ship, and we're in a new era of games that can support all platforms and fully support gamers' aspirations across their multiple devices. And this is changing the game industry fast. This is the iOS top 10 chart from yesterday. The top 2 games are now hardcore games for serious gamers powered by Unreal. And as a result of this transformation, Unreal adoption is growing incredibly quickly now. Last year, we announced that 3 million developers had chosen the Unreal Engine. Now, more than 5 million have installed Unreal on their machines. That's more than 10,000 new developers coming in every day. And that's 3 times the rate of adoption of 1 year ago. So we're really seeing a transformation. And these developers are all sorts of people. They're indie devs, they're students, they're pro game developers, and they're professionals across all other industries that use real-time computer graphics and are now using game engines for their work. So right now, there is full employment among Unreal developers. In fact, for the first time now, we have a dedicated booth on the GDC show floor just to showing games where more than 20 teams have demos set up, along with a Fortnite team, both to show games and recruit developers for the project. And from 1 p.m. onward, free beer will be provided. So please stop by and join the party. It is an awesome time in Unreal Land. And powering this growth is a really simple business model, and that is that any developer can download Unreal and start building a game of any scale for free. And once you release your game, we ask for a royalty of 5% of gross revenue. Now, this is a business model in which Epic only succeeds when you succeed as a developer. It means our interests are completely aligned in supporting you. As both an engine developer and a game developer ourselves, we bleed with you. We use our game building experience to drive future engine improvements and optimizations, and that continual process of incremental improvement brings great new features to everybody. Now, for the last few months, a large part of the Unreal Engine team has been helping the Fortnite team ship on mobile devices, run at 60 frames a second on console, and achieve other really impressive technical goals. So I'd like to invite Nick Panwarden, Unreal Engine developer lead, on stage to talk about some of the things we've done for Fortnite that are coming to all Unreal devs. Thanks.
Thanks, Tim. The engine team has had to solve many technical challenges in shipping Fortnite Battle Royale, especially shipping the exact same game on PC, console, and mobile devices. The Battle Royale map is an open world that's over 6 square kilometers and consists of more than 400 streaming levels, with cities and other points of interest that are visible from more than 2 kilometers away. While skydiving, players move through the world quickly, and so we had to make sure the engine can stream in content hitch-free at 60 frames per second before the player lands. We've moved more streaming and serialization work off of the main thread and tuned async loading to saturate I/O bandwidth in order to make this possible. Simulating a Battle Royale session with 100 players and more than 50,000 replicated actors puts a lot of strain on our dedicated servers. Networking updates are our biggest bottleneck. Every object that players interact with, such as walls and trees, as well as player-built structures, need to send updates to all nearby players. We've been optimizing replication to more efficiently figure out which of those 50,000 actors need to be replicated to each player, as well as intelligently caching and sharing that data among players whenever possible. Being a PvP game, smooth frame rate and responsive input are crucial to the experience. So we took up the challenge to develop a 60 frames per second mode for Battle Royale on consoles. On the rendering side, we've added support for dynamic resolution, allowing us to set a GPU budget and maintain a stable frame rate while varying quality as the action heats up. This is built upon temporal upsampling, which allows us to change the resolution frequently, every 8 frames, without the change in resolution being distracting. That way we can respond quickly to increases in GPU workload. On the game thread side of things, we've of course continued optimizing the engine and moved more computation onto worker threads wherever we can. We also approach 60 frames per second as a scalability problem, adding more knobs to control level of detail, like the number and quality of animation updates, physics, and effects, allowing us to hit 60 on the base Xbox One and PlayStation 4, as well as Xbox One X and PlayStation 4 Pro. Speaking of scalability, we leveraged all of that scalability and optimization work to bring the full Battle Royale experience to mobile devices. That's the same map, the same number of players, and in fact, we support crossplay so mobile players can be in the same game as their friends on PC and console. We tuned level of detail for meshes, animation, sound, and foliage to fit the game in memory and run at frame rate. On mobile devices, the number of draw calls we can issue each frame was a major limiting factor. We've developed some new mesh merging and instancing tools to help get the number of draw calls down, while still making sure that we render every mesh that affects gameplay. On Android, we've even added support for some of our parallel rendering features so that we have an entire core dedicated just to submitting OpenGL commands. All of the features, optimizations, and tools I've mentioned will be available in Perforce and on GitHub next month, and will ship with the 420 release this June. I really can't wait to see what you all do with these changes that we've made. And I'd like to invite everybody to come back later today to our tech talks on optimizing Unreal Engine for Battle Royale. Thank you.
Thanks, Nick. Also, on Monday, we announced that we were releasing a huge block of content from Paragon for free to all Unreal Engine developers. Now, this package includes the large majority of the characters from the game and the environmental assets, which developers are now free to use in any game powered by Unreal of any type. So you can build a MOBA or a brawler or a shooter or a machinima and get the full benefit of this content. You know, for 3 years, we poured our hearts and souls at Epic into building a MOBA with photorealistic graphics that put players directly into the action. So the team built a really great game, but we were never able to attract a large enough audience to really operate the project as a AAA success. And so when we closed Paragon, the team immediately went into action to make this content available to everybody. This is just another way that at Epic we are really trying to do absolutely everything we can to help other developers succeed in the way that we have succeeded ourselves with Epic. Now, another really interesting thing we talk about every year is the growth of the Unreal Engine outside of gaming. And this has been really interesting to see architects, and industrial designers, and filmmakers all adopt the engine for their real-time graphics needs. These are industries that have used non-real-time graphics for decades, and now they find they can just load their scenes in Unreal and it all works, and it's completely dynamic in real time. This has pushed us in ways that have really benefited game development. When a game developer wants a carbon fiber material, but we can't quite render it, they'll just choose something else, and that will be fine. But when Ferrari needs carbon fiber, you give Ferrari carbon fiber. Right? So this has delivered a large number of really awesome new features that benefit everybody across all industries, including game developers. So to talk about some of the really interesting things happening in film and television, I'd like to invite Kim LeBerry, Epic Games CTO, to talk more.
Thanks, Tim. Hi, everybody. Pretty good crowd. OK, so this year, we've been super blown away with how many films, television shows, and animation companies around the world are using Unreal Engine to make all sorts of amazing content and entertainment. It's not only to create cutting-edge visuals, but to also liberate creatives to design, build, and experience stories in new ways. Stories that are not only limited to passive viewing, but also can invite fans to enter the world of their favorite IPs. Here are some examples. So our friends at the third floor are a frequent contributor to visualization and virtual production of some of today's biggest movies. They recently used Unreal Engine to interactively visualize the most recent season of HBO's Game of Thrones. Real-time pre-visualization enables users to rapidly turn around ideas and get these ideas across, but also look great. Some of the core capabilities that the third floor have built on top of Unreal Engine are demonstrated in this scene with new ways to scout sets, plan practical shoots, and frame the action virtually. This interactive sandbox is truly transforming the way that content can be visualized, developed, and viewed. And speaking of virtual production, we are thrilled to announce that Glenn Derry, here on the right, and his team at Fox VFX Lab, he's got fans, Fox VFX Lab have chosen Unreal Engine as the real-time platform to power their vision for the future of filmmaking. Glenn is a superstar in the movie world, and his team was the team that pioneered virtual production for James Cameron's Avatar. Glenn aims to blur the line between what is real and what is virtual on a movie set, and will offer filmmakers a suite of capabilities that will really redefine how a movie is made. In the world of TV animation, Digital Dimension, up in Montreal, are producing a kids' TV show called Safari, entirely in UE4. They've seen some huge gains, not only in cost savings and productivity, but also in the quality of their final product. Working in real time allows them to experiment and iterate without the usual penalties of traditional animation pipelines. And as we know from making games, iteration is king, and the more times you can iterate, the better the final product will be. But the real game changer is this TV show. They can make one episode a week. It's amazing. It's just unheard of in the animation business. But it's not just big companies who are achieving success. Third World Studios, a small animation company in Pakistan, created the critically acclaimed CG animated feature film, Aliyar and the Legend of Makur. A small team of only 60 artists, animators, and engineers made a full-length feature film created entirely in Unreal Engine. By using assets from the Unreal Engine marketplace, they were able to save valuable time and focus their engines on the things that were really important for their story. And with mobile GPUs evolving as quickly as we're seeing today, it's only going to be a matter of time that something as great as this will be able to be played interactively on your phone or tablet. Imagine the possibilities, being able to take content, modify it, share it, and pass it on to your next friend. Amazing. Speaking of movies, this year, the Academy awarded a Special Achievement Oscar to Alejandro González Iñárritu for his mesmerizing and unforgettable VR experience, Carne y Arena. The last time one of these awards was given out was in 1996 for Pixar's pioneering work in computer graphics for the original Toy Story. It really speaks volumes that the Academy considers interactive VR experiences as a new form of cinematic storytelling. It's inspiring what Iñárritu and the team at Legendary Entertainment and ILMX Lab have been able to make. These are all our friends. I've known them for many years, and they killed it. An Oscar for a VR experience is an amazing thing. Now let's talk about something that's important across all interactive media types, digital humans. 2 years ago, we were here on the stage with our friends Ninja Theory to show you a live version of Senua from the game Hellblade, interactively being performed by Mel, the amazing actress that plays Senua. It was a landmark presentation that defined the possibilities for a live-performed real-time virtual character. Now, since then, Hellblade's been released, and it's received overwhelming success and amazing critical acclaim. It just goes to show that a small team can produce a thought-provoking, successful AAA quality game that not only hugely entertains gamers, but also can carry an important message. We're very proud of them. And for this year, when it comes to digital humans, we felt we could push things even further. We still thought that there was work we could do improving the quality of shading, especially on the skin and the eyes, the lighting, and also the quality of the live performance capture and facial animation. So we brought together our friends at Tencent, 3Lateral, Cubic Motion, Vicon, and our Epic Special Projects team to form a group that would aim to take live capture digital humans to the next level. So please let me introduce you to Siren.
Hello, I'm Siren, and I'm a digital human. I was created by an international team of artists and engineers who wanted to challenge our ideas of what a synthetic human could be. I've got state-of-the-art real-time graphics and an unprecedented level of detail in my eyes, skin, and hair. Cool, right? But I'm more than just a collection of fancy pixels. I'm actually being driven by a real human actress and her dynamic motion capture through Unreal Engine. So what are you waiting for? Come meet me at the Vicon booth and see for yourself.
Cool. Thank you. So everything you just saw was rendered real-time in Unreal Engine at 60 frames a second. Cubic Motion and 3Lateral made crazy, significant improvements to the live performance capture and facial rigging technology compared to what we were able to do on Senua. We also added a bunch of new features in the engine that anybody who's trying to do digital characters for their game or experience will find useful. We have dual lobe specular reflection, so the skin looks more realistic. We have backscatter, so light will pass through ears and noses to give you that light radiance and beauty that you see in real photography. We also have screen space irradiance that allows light to bounce off cheekbones and into eye sockets to really help a character's eyes light up. We also added the ability to stream animation data via Live Link directly from Vicon's motion capture systems. And as Siren herself said, she's going to be performing live every day at GDC. So if you go over to the Vicon booth, you'll be able to meet her, film her interactively, talk to her, ask her questions, and Alexa's going to be there to drive the character Siren. So, from a rendering perspective, we feel we're getting pretty close to crossing the uncanny valley in real time. But the devil is in the details. You really need a facial animation rig that can recreate all the subtle nuances of a human face. And this is slightly different for every single person that you would want to digitize. It's very easy to work out when something's in the uncanny valley. It looks weird and uncanny. But it's actually very hard to spot exactly what the root cause is. The amount of times in dailies where we look at a digital human and start arguing about what is it? Is it the eyes? Is it the flesh? Is it the animation speed? All sorts of crazy things get in the way. So to really understand how to take things to the next level, you need a digitization system, a capture system that can get every single detail of an actor's performance. So to explain more, let's invite Vladimir Mastilovich from 3Lateral, our good friend, to introduce you to some new developments that they've made in digital face capture and animation technology.
Thanks, Kim.
There you go. Thanks, Vlad.
Thank you. So 3Lateral specializes in what we came to call digital life, with a very specific focus to digital humans. In that domain, we develop technologies from acquisition to compression and articulation of the data. I've just finished new technology, which looks really great in Unreal Engine. So great capture technology requires great acting and great performance. So we're very excited and very grateful that we have been able to work on this project with famous actor Andy Serkis. Andy's acting has been driving some of the world's most famous characters in the past 2 decades. Only to mention a few, there's Gollum from Lord of the Rings, Caesar in The Planet of the Apes, and recently Snoke in Star Wars. And here's Andy to give you an introduction to this project.
Hi there, Andy Serkis here, and what you're going to see in the demo today is a recreation of my performance in real time, running in Unreal Engine. Thanks to 3Lateral's latest generation of 4D performance technology, you will see a performance that is caught at the highest fidelity possible today. Here's Vlad to explain more.
So we are about to see a little glimpse into the future, one of the first samples of true holographic data. We have captured Andy doing a very well-known performance from Macbeth from Shakespeare. So let's take a look at that in the engine.
And tomorrow. And tomorrow creeps in this petty pace. From day to day, to the last syllable recorded time. And all our yesterdays have lighted fools the way to dusty death. Out! Brief candle! Life's but a walking shadow. A poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and then is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing.
Thank you. So even though that looked like a pre-rendered video, that was actually running in real time in the engine. So here's Colin from Epic. He's going to be our virtual cinematographer, and he will help us see this from different views. So not that we're only capturing enormous amounts of data, but we're processing it through Trilateral's meta-human framework, and we're compressing it up to 1 million times to an asset, pretty much the same as assets we have been using in production in the past 8 years. This means that we do not need hardware from the future to run this. It can run on current generation hardware. It's also important to note that it's not a simple playback. Technology is animating a rig with beautiful organic and noise-free function curves for estimated muscle contractions that it sees in the data, and these curves are also human-readable and editable. So even though no one has tweaked this animation, it was done by our algorithm, an animator could use this as a starting point. Colin can now demonstrate that we can actually add an offset to muscle contractions that we see in the performance. So he's just going to do something subtle with the browse just to demonstrate the capability, because we want to be sensitive to Andy's performance as well. And we can make Andy look on the other side. So you can see that it's kind of like a little bit sensitive area because of the high fidelity. But what this allows us, it opens up new possibilities of retargeting the animation to a new face, new character, or simple but fundamental things in production, like integrating the character in the actual scene. It can be used for experience design, like having Andy Serkis directly addressing each member of the audience in the VR space, which I personally feel it's very powerful and what actors have wanted to do for a long time. And it opens up a whole new world of level of immersion, of experience that is based on performance presence. So seeing this process at more abstract level, technology is translating the data into universal nonverbal communication. This has amazing potential in research applications. And to prove that we're solving it to universal nonverbal language, let's see the same data, but this time on a fictional character. We have designed a mystical alien character named Osiris, and we're applying the same data from Andy Serkis without any tweaks to the animation. So let's have a look at that.
Out! Out! Brief candle! Life's but a walking shadow. A poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and then is heard no more.
So implications of this technology are many. We have digitized an appearance and acting of Andy Serkis. So at this level of fidelity, the term digital humans is starting to get its full meaning. His performance can now be reshot, remapped, or saved for future generations. Maybe for Andy himself, if in 20 years he'd like to act with the face that he has right now. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thanks, Kim.
Amazing. Well, first of all, thanks to Andy Serkis for being such a good sport and letting us digitize him and work with him for the last 5 weeks. That whole demo, from the beginning of Andy showing up at Three Laterals Place to today, was 5 weeks. So it's a testimony to how awesome Vlad's technology is. Okay. Hold on, let me fast forward. Okay, so the little virtual camera app that you saw Colin playing with is something that we're going to release at 420 with the engine. So anybody who's a budding filmmaker will be able to download it, connect it to their iPad. The actual system, the way it works, it's not magic, it's actually ARKit. So ARKit allows us to track where the iPad is and then send that information down to a PC that then can render the graphics and then remote stream it back into the iPad. So it means you can have super high-end graphics running on the best NVIDIA cards or AMD cards and stream it to the tablet. All 3 digital characters that you just saw are going to be available in an interactive demo at our booth, so you'll be able to go in the touch zoom, look at the eyes, look at all the details, and swap all the different characters. If you're also interested in learning more about how we made these characters, we're going to do a tech talk later for both Siren and Andy here in this theater. Okay, so now let's talk about augmented and mixed reality. In 2017, Chevrolet and the Mill showed the promise of mixed reality with the human race here on our stage at GDC. It was a sneak peek of what's possible in UE4 for interactive marketing and how professional-grade AR is going to change the way that content is made. Peter Jackson's Wingnut AR has also been doing some amazing groundbreaking work in augmented reality. Last year, Wingnut partnered with Apple to reveal ARKit at the Worldwide Developer Conference. Wingnut were able to show off a fully explorable cinematic sequence in AR that allowed you to punch in and see all the details of this scene. It also exhibited destruction of a level that you normally would only see in a movie, and it's all running on an iPad Pro. So it was a pretty great demo. We were very happy at what they turned out. It was amazing. And as Magic Leap herald a new era of augmented reality, we are proud to announce support for the Magic Leap 1. And are super excited to see what our early access customers are able to do with this amazing device. And while Magic Leap is bringing AR to people's homes, our friends from Riot have been doing some incredible work with large-scale mixed reality. Please welcome to the stage Kevin Scharf and Jerry O'Flaherty to talk about what Riot Games and Zero Density were able to achieve at the League of Legends World Championship. Awesome. Come on, guys. Here we go. Cheers. Cheers.
Hi there. Thank you, Kim, and thank you, Epic, for giving us the opportunity to talk this morning. Let us discuss one exciting way in which Riot Games has leveraged Unreal to maintain our dedication to and focus on our players. We do a lot of things at Riot, and one area we dedicate resources is towards the creative development and elevation of our IP, often through project work adjacent to spaces of the core League of Legends game. Riot values partnerships across our various product groups so that we can bring innovative and unique experiences to our players. Whether through CG stories, music videos, and albums, epic statues, or even tabletop games, we're always looking to offer our players creative expressions around the gaming lifestyle. And one of these expressions is League of Legends as a premier esport. Even beyond live events, Riot Esports broadcasts to millions of viewers who watch from all over the world, culminating in the World Championship each fall. Our World's Finals are like the Super Bowl of our game, and Rioters teamed up this year to bring a cutting-edge and cinematic spectacle to the world stage in China. The choice of the Bird's Nest, Beijing National Stadium, set the stage for an epic set piece. The challenge was clear. Why not take an iconic character from our IP and literally drop it on the center stage in an augmented reality experience? The question is, how do we support such a huge event? First, this required assembling a team and pipeline suitable for global distributed development. And we found Unreal to be a critical universal tool and language that allowed us to collaborate and solve complex problems with our partners. The goal, achieve grand scale with both fidelity and impact. And with that, I'm going to pass it over to Jerry to walk us through the process.
Thank you, Kevin. Augmented reality has been a part of live sport broadcasts since the 1990s. The first in 10 line appeared in 1998. Since then, it's become an integral part of many of the major sport broadcasts we see around the world. From the billboards in the background to stats and logos appearing to float above the field to player selects and even champ selects, we use it in a very similar way in our League Championship Series broadcasts. So for the World's Opening Ceremony 2017, we wanted to do something epic, something that was going to blow our players' minds using augmented reality. The idea, as Kevin said, take an iconic character, the dragon, and bring him to life, bring him to the bird's nest in China. To do that, we teamed with the amazing folks at Passion Republic to help us translate the dragon into cinematic fidelity, model him like he's a real dragon, animate it perfectly to match the stadium so that you can see the fingernails curl over the edge of the roof. Be true to the style and the aesthetic of the game, but imbue enough fidelity, enough realism into it to allow it to match really well with the live-action plates. And to do the integration with the plates, we used the reality engine from Zero Density. Built like a real-time compositing tool, it allowed us to reach into the image and manipulate almost every aspect of it right up until moments before broadcast. And obviously, testing something like this, something meant to be in a stadium, can be a little problematic, so we used the Riot parking lot to pull everything together right before we shipped off to China. Dragons are awesome. Why is this special? Live broadcast. Live broadcast is unlike anything I had ever done before. You have live camera operators who have to hit their cues perfectly every time. 2 40-foot jib arms with mechanical tracking systems on them that have to stay in sync, not lose calibration. You have live editorial going on, cueing the cameras, cueing your edits. You have a venue that was changing underneath us. We had smog one day, we had cloud cover the next day, a start time that shifted a half hour to an hour. Lighting, shadows, all of these things can change, completely breaking the illusion. In the half dozen times we rehearsed it right before live broadcast, I was shocked at just by how seat of your pants live broadcast can truly be. It requires incredibly agile tools, technology, and people to accomplish something at this scale and at this fidelity. And thanks to the Unreal Engine, our amazing partners, and the amazing team that worked on it, we were able to bring the dragon to life at the bird's nest in China. And here it is as it appeared in the broadcast. Thanks.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Wow. Mixed reality is going to really change the way that people can go to massive social events like that. It's awesome. Just think what it's going to be like with AR goggles. Amazing. All right. OK, so now let's talk about virtual reality. As VR technology matures, we're super excited about the medium, and we really love how it offers players and developers completely new experiences. It's a really great place to solve new sort of problems in terms of interactivity and immersion, and we really love it. And this year, location-based VR is coming into its own. And the opening of Star Wars Secrets of the Empire, a collaboration between The Void and ILMX Lab, has given us a taste of the first VR blockbuster. Here to talk more about how UE4 powers this and other experiences is my really good friend, Moen Leo from ILMX Lab. Hey, Moen, how's it going?
Thanks, Tim.
Here you go.
At the end of last year, ILMX Lab and The Void debuted our hyper-reality experience, Star Wars Secrets of the Empire, to fan and critical acclaim. Guests are transported to the Star Wars universe where, disguised as stormtroopers in teams of 4, they must recover intelligence critical to the survival of the budding rebellion. Our collaborators at The Void call their multiplayer experiences hyper-reality because you not only see the Star Wars universe, you smell the ash in the air, touch the environment around you, pick up a blaster, and more. It's complete and total immersion in the Star Wars universe, powered by Unreal Engine. Secrets of the Empire is now open in Glendale, Anaheim, Orlando, and London, and the Las Vegas location is coming soon. Stay tuned for more later this year. At ILM X Lab, we want to let audiences step into our stories and experience cinematic worlds that look and feel as real as the ones on the movie screen. Working as a visual effects supervisor at Industrial Light and Magic, I witnessed over the last few years real-time rendering edging closer and closer to the photorealism we expect from blockbuster cinema effects. But for real-time rendering to achieve true cinematic quality for film production and interactive experiences, there's always been one big missing piece. To address this, Epic has been working closely with NVIDIA, ILM X Lab, and Microsoft on some next-generation rendering technology. What we're about to show you is an experimental project that we hope will give you a peek into the future of real-time computer graphics. Let me welcome Epic Games' own Jerome Plateau and Marcus Wassmer to the stage, who are going to demonstrate for the first time ever interactive real-time ray tracing in Unreal Engine. Over the last decade, ray tracing has become the core rendering technique for offline renders in visual effects, in spite of the often daunting rendering times of hours or even tens of hours per frame. But there's no other way to achieve the realism we need. Being able to use these same techniques in real-time rendering will create huge opportunities, both for film and television production and for interactive entertainment. Jerome, are we ready?
Yes, we are. Let's do this.
In the real world, light sources come in complex shapes and configurations. Cinematographers use light patterns to carefully shape lighting and reflections. With textured area lights, we can create these same effects in real time. Just as important as controlling the lighting is shaping the shadows. Soft shadows can dramatically change the mood of a scene. On film sets, we use diffusers and bounce cards of different sizes to control the softness of light and shadows. Real-time ray tracing makes it possible to use these effects even with moving light sources. Now let's look at these characters in a more complex environment. You can see how ray-traced ambient occlusion really grounds the characters in the world. But the best way to show off ray tracing is obviously reflections. So let's bring in someone a lot shinier. All of these lighting effects and reflections also work in dynamic environments. Improved cinematic depth of field allows us to recreate the look and feel of real-world cameras and lenses. But ray tracing isn't just about rendering characters. It's just as important for creating realistic, complex environments.
Whoa. Let me reset that.
Jerome, you want to try the backup?
Uh-oh.
I'm here.
There we go.
And we're back.
So rendering all these reflections on the fly allows us control over material properties like roughness and effects like glossy reflections in real time. The ability to ray trace dynamic characters and environments together with all the complex lighting effects, shadows, and interreflections creates a level of realism previously impossible in real-time rendering. To really show off how all these techniques come together in production, we decided to create a short cinematic piece we call Reflections. What you're about to see is all rendered in real time in Unreal Engine.
What's the story with all the elevators lately? I heard Kylo Ren destroyed the one over in D sector. If you ask me, who's ever in charge of this place should be transferred to Hoth. What? What? think she heard us? Yeah, I think she heard us. At least we blend in for once.
All right, that's all.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. I guess 700 cell phones and a Wi-Fi network don't mix very well. But anyway, so thanks to everybody at Lucasfilm for letting us do that crazy piece. It was a ball. Honestly, with this level of realism, you can see how the worlds of filmmaking and game making are converging, not only in the creative ideas, but also in terms of the ability to have content that is totally photoreal. A decade from now, I think just like Tim says, you won't be able to tell the difference between the real world and the virtual world. And everything you saw wouldn't have been possible without the support of our awesome friends at NVIDIA. So I'm going to invite to the stage Tony Tomasi, who's going to explain about all the hardware this ran on and the software stack, and be generally awesome. Hi, Tony.
Hi, Kim.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm about as geeked up as I've ever been in maybe 20 years for graphics. Now, I realize I'm a bit of a graphics nerd, but achieving that level of realism in real time has been a dream of the industry for as long as I've been in the industry, which is several decades now. And really, it's because this is kind of considered the holy grail of rendering quality. And you heard it, they've been chasing this for quite some time. The film industry transitioned largely to ray tracing about a decade ago, but it really hasn't been practical or even possible to do this in real time. Ray tracing solves a bunch of the fundamental problems of traditional rasterization type graphics. It simulates the physical behavior of light. It bounces, it's transmission through different medium and things like that. But the problem has been it's just been too demanding historically to do that in real time, really until now. So at NVIDIA, for the better part of a decade, we have been working on GPU-based ray tracing. We've developed technologies with things like IRA and optics to accelerate GPU-based ray tracing, and we're really now at the crux of real-time ray tracing becoming a practical reality right now. What you saw wouldn't have been possible without all of that investment in R&D that we've put into it, and we've distilled all of that technology, know-how, and architecture into something we call RTX. This is ray tracing technology specifically targeted to accelerate real-time ray tracing. It's a combination of hardware and software algorithms, and it runs on Volta-based GPUs. The demo that you just saw ran on a DGX station, which uses 4 NVIDIA Volta GPUs connected with NVLink to achieve that level of essentially real-time cinematic realism. DXR is that core fundamental acceleration technology that enables real-time ray tracing. But you have to be able to program it. So we partnered with our friends at Microsoft to deliver an industry standard API that's called DXR, or DirectX Ray Tracing. That API is perfectly integrated with RTX to enable real-time ray tracing through APIs and interfaces that game developers are familiar with. And on top of that, we've layered in some GameWorks technology to give developers a kickstart for things like denoising and reconstruction filters for shadows and reflections and ambient occlusion. And then, of course, we've had a long-standing partnership with our friends at Epic, and we've worked closely with them to integrate all this technology into UE4 to unleash what we think is the next generation of graphics, but it's here now, and I expect you're going to see games shipping with real-time ray tracing this year. Thank you.
Thanks, Tony. Thanks a million. Clicker. We'll be taking a much closer look on how we created that content and the underlying technology later in the tech talk here in this room. Now to talk more about games momentum and what our amazing developers have been doing with the engine, we'd love to introduce Dana Cowley to come on stage. Dana's going to blow you away some amazing video games, so speak to you later. I'm off.
All right. Thank you, Kim. Hi. So there are no better experts in real-time technologies than game developers. So let's talk about how game developers are thriving in the heart of consumer entertainment. And let's talk about how Unreal developers are writing your own pages in entertainment history books. This is a sampling of the incredibly talented teams who are making the Unreal Games community what it is today. At Epic, we're grateful to be a part of your accomplishments, and we're giving you even better tools to help you keep raising the bar creatively and technically. And we will continue to help you be more successful financially. Revenue for Unreal developers is setting new records every day. In 2017, Unreal Engine games earned more than $1 billion on Steam alone. You're making high-quality, critically acclaimed games that millions and millions of people are playing and watching and talking about. Take PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, for example. PUBG launched less than a year ago, and it's already the third highest-grossing game on Steam in the platform's history. Rocket League, another Steam top seller, now has more than 43 million players across consoles and PC. And on average, 6.5 million people are playing Rocket League each month. And people have played 2.3 billion matches of Rocket League. That's a lot of goals. So congrats to our friends at Psyonix. Rocket League is playable here in our booth, South 801, on Nintendo Switch. A year ago, System Era was here on stage talking about Astroneer, which launched at #1 on Steam. In its first year available in pre-alpha, Astroneer sold over 1 million units, and it's been a top 100 seller on Steam for 2 years in a row. This was accomplished with only 6 team members at launch and 15 full-time employees a year later. This is what a small team can do with Unreal. Astroneer just went into alpha in December. You can play it now in Xbox Game Preview and Steam Early Access. Now let's talk about a few incredible games that are coming soon to everyone. We're going to take a look at a very special game from a very talented team of 15 people, give or take. Pixel Opus is making it their first Unreal Engine game. At Epic, we fell in love with Concrete Genie the first time we laid eyes on it. Please give Dominic Rebillard from Pixel Opus a warm welcome.
Thank you, Dana. So I'm the creative director of a small first-party team at PlayStation called Pixel Opus, as Dana mentioned, and I'm here to tell you a little bit about our current game, Concrete Genie, and how our small 16-person team has leveraged Unreal Engine to make it. Our goal at Pixel Opus is to make imaginative and beautiful games with heart, and after our first game, Entwined, we decided that significantly increasing the ambition and the scope of our next game could deliver that core idea to a bigger audience. So after some preliminary conversations about what we wanted our next game to be about, we switched to Unreal. As Concrete Genie took shape through concept and pre-production, the things that we felt were special about it started to come into focus and led to some specific areas of investment on the development front. And I'm going to walk through some of those areas today. Cue the gameplay footage, please. Concrete Genie is an action-adventure game about a boy who can bring his paintings to life. And that idea has presented some interesting challenges in both the gameplay mechanics and the rendering. We used the DualShock 4 controller's motion sensors to intuitively control Ash's magic paintbrush, and then the strokes that you make with the brush literally come to life as you paint them. We've added a new rendering pass to house all of the visual impact that this has to have on the game, and that's what's getting us all of the controlled lighting, the bloom, and the movement that we need for the painting gameplay. One of our main goals with Concrete Genie is to make sure that anyone who plays the game feels like they're an artist, no matter their real-world artistic talent. So making sure that every single mark you make in the game is as beautiful as possible is really important to us. As well as the beautiful landscapes you can make in Concrete Genie, you also get to make your own cast of unique creatures to play with in this world. And these creatures also come to life, each with their own AI and abilities depending on how you painted them. We've used and extended the Unreal behavior system to prototype and develop all of the AI for the creatures in the game. And they've got a ton of helpful and charming things that they can do for you, as well as helping you solve lots of different puzzles to help explore this world that we've created. Having as much variety in these creatures that you make, and also in how they can behave and respond to you, quickly became a huge pressure on our limited animation resources. So we've made our own tool set and pipeline to animate all of the 2D creatures as efficiently as possible. And this is another thing that's worked out really well for us using Unreal Engine, constructing our own components to bolt in and change our workflow as needed. And this particular tool allows our animators to create simple keyframe poses in Photoshop, and then we vectorize them and interpolate between them to get really smooth animations, but in a fraction of the time that you would normally expect it to take. One of our main goals at Pixel Opus is to make games that have heart, as I mentioned earlier on. And for us, that means exploring themes, characters, and stories that resonate emotionally for our players. We realized early on that to deliver on that, we would need to find a way for our characters to perform and emote convincingly with our limited resources. The animators on our team are expert 2D animators as well as 3D, and so we explored a new take on animating expression textures across sculpted character heads, which topologically are almost completely static. These 2D facial animations are animated in Photoshop as well, and then compressed through a command line tool to be mapped across all of the characters' faces in-game. It's led to some really powerful moments in our story, and it fits really well with our stylized art direction. Another important aspect of our look and art direction is to make the world feel handcrafted and tactile. So we've used Substance Painter and Unreal's world-aligned texture function to not only create expansive environments and detail-rich locations, but it also lets us make large-scale adjustments to the world way more quickly than you would expect. And that's helped us keep gameplay at the top of our priority list when it comes to the level design and also iterating through our polish phase. There's so much more to show and talk about in Concrete Genie, and we really look forward to sharing more as we get close to launch. For now, though, I'd just like to thank Kim Libreri and Joe Kreiner at Epic for inviting us here to speak and share a little more detail about how Unreal is helping a small team make its dream game. Thank you.
Thanks. 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 Thank you, Dom. Concrete Genie looks absolutely captivating. So Undead Labs rose to independent stardom upon the 2013 release of State of Decay. It was the fastest-selling original XBLA game of all time. And now, they're about to ship the sequel, which is built with Unreal Engine 4. State of Decay 2 is one of the biggest games coming to Xbox this year. So let's give a big welcome to the studio head of Undead Labs, Jeff Strain.
Thank you. So when we released State of Decay in 2013, we were absolutely blown away by the response from the gaming community. We had, millions of fans tell us that it was the first real swing at simulating the survival apocalypse genre. We were humbled by the response, but we also knew that the sequel would have to do more than just fall back on the gameplay elements that made the first one successful. And in particular, we knew that it also had to have more polish and better visuals. So that had to start with a new engine. But Undead Labs is a game company. We're not a technology or an engine company. Unless you're a mega studio, it's just really hard to be both. And we'd rather spend our technology budget on investing in those things that make our games unique, such as the simulation engine that delivers the State of Decay 2 experience, survival fantasy experience, and technology that allows us to do things like in the big open world, actually go into any building you see and explore the interior. So we knew we needed to find a good engine and a good engine partner. So we wanted not only superior rendering technology, but also a robust tool set that would allow us to rapidly prototype game systems. And we needed to augment the game with our own technology because there's really no out-of-the-box engine out there that's going to give us all the tools and systems and features we need for State of Decay 2. So extensibility was very important to us. And most importantly, we knew that choosing an engine was not just about the technology, but also the partnership and support that came along with it. So since I'm standing up here, you have a pretty good idea of how this decision worked out for us. We wound up choosing Unreal Engine 4 and Epic as our partner. And that allowed us to focus on making great games and trusted Epic to focus on making the great game tools. And it turns out they're actually pretty good at that. So UE4 blueprints, if you're familiar with those, gave us the rapid prototyping tools that we needed, and the plugin architecture under UE4 gave us the extensibility that we needed. But more than that, UE4 enjoys tremendous and robust industry-wide support, so that allowed us to bring in some other technologies, such as Enlighten, which gives us the real-time dynamic lighting system that powers the fluid day-night cycle in the game, and also TrueSky, which is a technology that drives the beautiful dynamic sky and cloud systems in the game. Now, choosing an engine is a huge decision for any game studio, regardless of size, because we make tremendous technology and infrastructure investments around that decision. And we rely on our engine partner to support the engine and maintain its technological integrity over time. So we certainly made the right choice for State of Decay 2, and we are very much looking forward to seeing what we can do next with this engine technology. State of Decay 2 releases on May 22nd, so please go out and buy it and ask all your friends to go buy it too. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for the kind words, Jeff. State of Decay 2 looks awesome. It's going to be such a blast to play with your friends, so I'm looking forward to checking it out. Ark Survival Evolved doesn't need much of an introduction. Studio Wildcard has done a phenomenal job of continually improving the game, releasing loads of new content, and bringing it to Windows, Mac, Linux, and consoles, and it's stayed at the top of the sales charts. And now, they're here to give you an update. Everyone, please welcome Jeremy Steiglitz and Jesse Rapsack.
Thanks, Dana.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Steiglitz.
And I'm Jesse Rapsack.
So, since our full launch of Ark Survival Evolved last August, the Wildcard team has been hard at work making new content and improvements to the game for the Ark community.
In December, we launched our second huge expansion for Ark, Ark Aberration. And this year, we plan to launch our next expansion, Ark Extinction. But already, we've launched 2 huge Dino TLC updates for our original pack of dinosaurs that we launched closer to early access, with great visual and functional updates, and one of those just launched yesterday.
These updates include lots of bug fixes as well, quality of life improvements, and features added to the game based on community suggestions and feedback. But also, Ark now has over 4,000 mods on Steam Workshops and millions of subscribers to those mods, thanks to the amazing tools and functionality found in the Unreal Kit.
We're also really excited that our partner teams have been helping to expand the Ark universe in new ways. You may have seen that Snail Games has created 2 new Ark experiences for consoles and PC. Ark Park VR, which launches this week on PlayStation VR and Steam, and PixArk, which launches this month on Xbox One Game Preview and Steam Early Access.
Wardrum Studios, a partner, has designed the mobile version of Ark for iOS and Android. It was just recently announced, it's free to play, and it has the same experience as the console versions of the game. Ark fans who've signed up for the iOS beta should check their inboxes, as Wardrum is starting to send out invites to the iOS version today, I believe.
So the flexibility of UE4 has enabled Wildcard and our partner teams to take the massive Ark experience to so many new platforms and places.
Should stop by Epic's booth to check out everything we've just talked about with Ark and all the new stuff. But speaking of new stuff, there is one more thing we'd like to show you.
This is something that you're going to be hearing about and seeing exclusively here for the first time today. This is Ark Survival Evolved on Nintendo Switch.
So let's play it a little bit. So as you can see here, I'm a new survivor on the island, and these are my first moments. Normally in a game of Ark, I'd probably punch a tree, punch a dino maybe, harvest a few plants, build myself a first initial base to try to survive the night. But it's really amazing how on the Switch we've actually managed to incorporate all the same visuals as every other console version. Just having it portable in your hand is quite a unique experience, being able to take it wherever you want to go with you.
Our team loves this because it means we can create our content for fewer target looks and know that that look is going to translate to a full console experience across all these devices, including things like multiplayer and playing with your friends and joining tribes. All of that experience that you can expect from Ark is available on the go with the Switch.
Let me go ahead and hop on my trusty steed here, see if I can find a small dino to terrorize.
You're so mean.
Well, you know, that's how you play Ark, right? Have you played Ark?
Welcome to Ark.
Exactly. So we're really excited about this version. It's just amazing how Unreal has enabled us to achieve the parity between platforms, and it's coming out in fall 2018. We're looking forward to getting it to everybody's hands. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, everyone.
Wow. Ark on Switch. That's huge. Content creators are a driving force in consumer entertainment. Fortnite has over 130 million daily video views or more. And now we're making it even easier to share the greatest gameplay moments of Unreal-powered games. And we want to help you get your content straight to Twitch, YouTube, and social media. Here to tell you more about this is Zeke Mateus, video editor, and Michael Gay, director of cinematic production here at Epic. Everyone, please make some noise for Zeke and Michael.
Thank you, Dana. We're so amazed by all the content the Fortnite community creates. As a video editor at Epic, I know it takes time to put together a video, and yet every day there's tons of new and wonderful content being shared. From college dorm rooms celebrating victory royales, to duos with Ninja and Drake. I definitely spend way too much time watching clips at work. I get paid to do that, that's pretty weird. We love the content so much, we wanted to share some of our favorites with you now.
Have you heard of Fortnite? If you haven't, chances are your kids definitely have.
Got it, baby.
Let's get it.
Let's go, baby. They're just. Oh! Should've rocked at me. Oh, we got it! Dude, it literally just chunked up like 40.
Ooh. Let's go!
Oh my god! He made me falling for this trap, guys! Please. Oh, let's go! Shotgun, baby, send it. Get it!
We're so thankful for the Fortnite community and all the incredible content that they create. But wouldn't it be cool to fuel all that creativity with something new?
So the team has been hard at work creating new tools that are going to make it possible for content creators to create even more stuff. And so we're excited to show you for the first time ever the replay system that we built for Fortnite Battle Royale.
In fact, we invited one of the biggest Fortnite content creators to come and check out the new tool early. He has over 12 million subscribers, and when you search Fortnite on YouTube, his videos come out before even our own. Please welcome Ali A.
Thank you, Zeke, and thank you, Epic Games, for having me here today. A few weeks ago, I headed over to the Epic Game offices in the UK and actually got to get hands-on and use this brand new replay system for the very first time. And I have to say, it is amazing. For the millions of content creators around the world, just like myself, it is going to allow us to improve and make even bigger and better content. And even for the everyday Fortnite players, it means as soon as a game is done, they can jump back in and review that gameplay through the replay system to see what went wrong or what worked out on the road to that victory royale. It's amazing. And in fact, Zeke, I think we can show the guys right here the new replay system in action for the first time, right?
I think we can. Michael, you want to help us out?
Let's do it. So what we're looking at here is actually a replay that we recorded where Zeke and Ali were playing. So let's take a couple minutes and see if we can create a cool shot in the system.
Let's do it. So this is the brand new replay system. We can see the UI along the bottom. There's tons of customization. We can speed up and slow down the action and view the world of Fortnite in a way that we've never seen it before. Imagine you've got an amazing, expensive camera, and you're in the world of Fortnite. You can customize everything. So Michael here can change everything from aperture, focal length, manual focus. All of that is available for you guys to customize in this replay feature. It is absolutely amazing. This is actually me in-game right now using my favorite skin, the Wukong skin. It looks pretty damn awesome. And actually, as Michael said, this is a gameplay shot that both Zeke and I had in Fatal Field. So it's pretty action-packed, right?
I think so. You want to check it out a little bit?
Let's do it.
Sure. This is the rooftop battle you guys had with those guys that were set up across the way.
Yes, this is awesome, and Michael's actually going to turn on even more features here. We're going to be able to see the weapons that everyone is holding in-game, their health, their shield, all at a quick glance. You can get all of that information and even highlight enemy players and teammates as well. So As this action is going down, we're going to pan around the camera here and again see Fortnite in a way we've never seen it before. This is the enemy team. They're set up pretty nicely in the house here in Fatal Fields, and we're trying to take them down from the barn across the way. As we're doing so, Zeke actually lands a nasty crossbow shot, taking out one of the players. That was pretty good.
Thanks, man. I hit my shots, sometimes.
And it was actually perfect and set up really well, and as Michael will show here, for me to rush across Fatal Fields and start a cheeky flank maneuver and try and go in behind the enemy team and catch them off guard. Again, this is using the drone follow, a new camera tool within the replay system to view this, something we wouldn't have been able to do before. So the teams have just rezzed up, but Zeke, your job isn't over yet because you need to distract them.
That's right. So I decided to try and give you some cover, and things don't quite go according to plan. I start getting shot at, and I think I actually almost get blown up twice.
Yeah, it is close. It is very hairy. You take some damage. But let's not forget I'm flanking around the back here, and you've done your job to distract them. And before they know it, I'm actually in their base, pull out my tac shotgun, take out one, take out two, and we win that gunfight. And as a result, I have a load of loot to share between both of us. It was a great action piece.
That was pretty fun. You know, I'm more of a hand cannon guy myself, but the crossbow did put in work. And Ali, I think if I remember correctly, we went on to win this game.
We probably did, Zeke, but that's a story for another time. Having had a quick look at the replay system here, myself and the guys at Epic Games have actually worked together to put an amazing cinematic piece together, just showing you an example of what you can create with this tool, and I'm sure you guys are really excited to see it for the first time. So without further ado, let's take a look at that video right here, right now.
Once again, here we go. Know the name, know the flow. Turn me up a little more. I'm setting traps on my lawn. Give me that, where the city at? Nitty gritty, this ain't gonna be pretty, Jack. Not afraid, get up out the way. Y'all used to, hey, look at what you made. When it all goes down, I'ma run this town. Fire in my soul, got my eyes on the ground. I can't help myself lately, can't turn myself down. I'm in love with you, baby, but I let you down. I can't die in this town. I won't die in this town. Hey, I won't die in this town.
Woo! Every time I watch that, Ali, that video, so badass.
It was a lot of fun to put together, and I'm sure everyone here and at home can't wait to use the new replay system.
You won't have to wait too long. The replay system will be debuting in Fortnite soon and will be available on PC and console. And don't forget to stop by the booth, because I think we've got some nice shirts. You can claim one.
Definitely.
Yep. We're also excited to bring these improvements to the replay system right into the engine, so developers everywhere can put this into their games. You can get all the stuff in version 4.20. Also, if you stop by the booth, you can check out the replay system in action and fly your own cameras around. So I'd like to thank Ali for joining us on stage, and all the content creators out there that are making games as fun to watch as they are to play. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
See you at the booth.
Thanks, guys. That's really awesome. And you know, seeing what's happening here with Fortnite and Rocket League and PUBG really highlights that games are now becoming social experiences. They're much more fun to play when you're playing them with your real-world friends. And so Epic has been working on a really extensive diplomatic effort on Fortnite to lead the way forward to interconnecting all users on behalf of all developers. And we're really grateful that both Sony and Microsoft have agreed to allow cross-platform play between each of their platforms, and PC, and Mac, and iOS, and Android. Right, so we have 6 platforms. There are 36 possible connections, and there's only one connection that's not enabled yet, and that's the Sony to Xbox connection. And we're working with that with all of these folks, and we're optimistic that that day will come. And you know, underlying all of this, there's a great value to interoperability for everybody, for gamers, for game developers, and for the platform companies themselves. And there's an economic principle here that was first stated by Mr. Metcalfe, the inventor of Ethernet. He said that the value of a network for each user is proportional to the number of nodes that each user can connect to. Essentially, the more connectivity, the more value there is for everybody. And so the value of a network as a whole grows according to the square of the number of nodes. Now, I mean, that's all good and abstract, but what we're really talking about here isn't nodes and network, it's people, right? These are our customers. They are kids in school who have friends in real life and want to play games along with their real-world friends. And now almost all of the platforms are connected together, and we're making really great progress. But based on all of the economics we've learned, many of the most valuable companies in the world are companies that help connect users socially now, and deservedly so. And so we think that there's great value to Sony in connecting with Xbox players and great value to Microsoft in connecting with Sony players, and that everybody in the whole industry will be better off with these connections in place. So we'll continue to advocate on that behalf. And you should too. You should too. It's feeling pretty lonely up here. But at Epic, we really believe this is the future of gaming, that we're building games for gamers ourselves, and we're releasing the tools for all developers to be able to do this themselves. We're releasing games across all the platforms and transforming mobile gaming from a casual experience of the Angry Birds class to a first-class PC and console quality experience for serious gamers. And I think by helping developers make games that are social experiences themselves, we're going to enable linking gamers together with their friends and streamers and content creators like Ali A on YouTube and build a much larger community around their games. And this is great and valuable growth for the whole industry. And this isn't speculation about the future, right? This is happening right now. And it's happening across many games, many powered by Unreal. And we think it's a wonderful time for the industry. And so to conclude, we prepared a little video to show off kind of what's happening with social gaming in Unreal today in 2018. But again, I'd like to invite you to come over to our booth and check out our games, check out job opportunities, and drink our beer. So thank you very much for coming, and let's take a look.